Hello, welcome back. Didn't come up with a name for the vlog until after I had recorded the first one and then started uploading it. And I recorded the yesterday's and the day before is the 5th and the 6th. No, the 6th. Yes, just day 6 on December 1st. Here we are, December 6th, because I've been lazy in recording stuff. So I thought today might be fun to walk you through like my process of designing a hat pattern, or any kind of pattern, but in this case it's a hat pattern. And then at the end of today's video, I will do like a quick little sweep of the room so that way you can see what the room kind of looks like after I've reorganized it. There's still a few things I need to do, but overall it's pretty much done. So the plan was to like record me working on this, so that way you can see little bits and pieces and screen record and all of that. And I did all of that, but I didn't turn my microphone on. So I didn't have any audio. So here we are recording this again, and we are going to just go through the whole process. So you'll see that I have Amanda's hat listed here on my little board here, and that's what we're gonna walk through. So this particular hat pattern, I went through a couple extra steps since Amanda commissioned this of me, and she gave me artistic license, but I did do a couple drawings to make sure that she had something to go by, so she could say yes or no, or I could make changes as she needed. So this is what I sent her. So this is just a quick mock-up of the hat itself. So this is the hat as worn. This is how it's constructed, and then just basic information on like how the colorway is going to look, like basic idea of what the design is going to look like, and that of course evolved as I got into the greater stages. I've got some notes on how I start with a tubular cast on. I use the Pearl Soho's long tail tubular cast on using a 4.5mm needle, and then I went down to a 4mm to do the brim and the ear warmer section. And then I did a turning row, and did some stuff, and took some notes as I went through. I erased, I don't know how well you can see that. Yeah, I've erased here quite a few times because I was doing like a turn row, and then while doing like my little brim, and after doing the hat the second time, it's not really necessary, because of how the rest of the hat works and how the brim works. Anyway, not super necessary. So I've gone ahead and removed that. Here you can see like my first little ideas of how I was going to do my hat pattern. Again, I don't know how well you can see that. That just looks like a white screen. There we go. You can see like my little design being kind of sketched in, and then I use my grid paper here to fill out the design. But as what always happens when I'm doing a design on paper, this lets me get some ideas on paper, but when I actually need to get it to work on a graph, and when I do like the first draft, final draft sort of thing, I put it here on Stitch Fiddle. I don't want any of that. So this is Stitch Fiddle. And as I explain a few other things, I will put up on the screen recording that I had done already. But this is Stitch Fiddle. Stitch Fiddle is a program that I've been using to chart out everything that I do for my knitting patterns. It's good for quilting and crochet and cross stitch and all of that. And it has a number of cool features to it. I pay for a subscription. This is not a sponsored post. This is just what I've been using for my patterns. And it's really, really cool because you're able to quickly change things about the pattern as you see fit. So you can see there I am on this screen here that I am filling in a lot of the space with gray, so that way I'm deleting a lot of it, and then I can just go ahead and fix it that way. So that's a lot of fun. And the really cool feature about this that I really, really love is that if you set up your legend, which is your which is like your stitches here on the side, and you set it up so that way it utilizes the stitches properly. You can actually get the program to check your work for you. So it tells you how many stitches you've got, how many additional stitches, how many stitches you have got left at the end of the row, and whether or not you've have accidentally too many stitches. It doesn't help in color work because if you put they can't tell you if their color work is correct, obviously. But when you're doing something that has a lot of increases, decreases, or if you're doing lace work, it's a really, really useful tool to make sure that things are going to work out properly for you. And when you pay for the subscription, all of those features that I showed you, that comes for the free version. The only thing that the paid subscription does for you is it allows you to print and save the charts that you make in a format that allows you to put it into a program. So earlier today, I did the majority of updating this on my computer. So the only thing I have left to do is change the photo out for this. What I do when I make my hats is I just take a hat pattern that is already completed from my library, which is usually this one because it's just the format that I like the most. And then the first thing that I'll do is I will change the name and then the stats for geeks. So that tells you the needles, the notions, the gauge, how much yarn you're using. I like to put in what I'm using as the design feature. I've got my little logo here, which I think I can center that. And then just some of the more important information that you need. And then on some patterns like this one, I also include pattern notes. So that way, if you, if you're picking this up and you have no previous knowledge of the fiber types that I've used in this or a technique, I will mention something in here. So in this case, because this hat was written for alpaca and kiviot, since neither of those really have any memory whatsoever. So like as they stretch, they'll continue to stretch and stay stretched, where merino or any other kind of wool really, it'll stretch, but then it'll kind of return back to where it was. It has that memory, that elastic memory. And these fibers that I used don't. So I recommend here to use an elastic thread. So I mentioned in a previous podcast that the elastic thread that I was using was Clover elastic thread. Cannot find that on their website. You can find it on Amazon, but I think you're just utilizing the leftovers of whatever stock people have. But Kat Montgomery did point out that it is available through Prim, that company, Prym. They make a bunch of different notions. They do have an elastic thread, and you have the available in black, white, and transparent. I have not used them yet. But I probably will be using them here in the near future, and I'll give you a review on that once I've tried one of them here. So the next thing that I like to do in my patterns is try to make sure that the pattern fits in as few pages as possible. So that way, if somebody's going to print this off, then you only need to print off 1 or 2 pages. In this case, this is a 2-page pattern. So if you were to print it on front side and back side, you could get away with 1 sheet of paper. And then I like to put all of the directions in easy to read format on one side, and then if I can fit it, the chart on the other. The Stitch Fiddle allows you to print off different sections of the chart, as well as allows you to print off the legend as well. And they can be downloaded as separate files. That's not what I wanted. This is what I wanted. They can be downloaded as separate files, so that way you can put them in as different picture files. So that way, if you wanted to blow up one of them here, you could. So there's my legend. This legend is not going to be the final one that I put in here because for whatever reason, the decreases weren't included, and I want my decreases to be included here in the legend. So I will be fixing that here before it goes live. What I'm going to be doing special for you guys that have watched this particular episode of the vlog is I'm going to be putting this on down in the description as a Google Drive download. So you can download a PDF of this for free. And if you want to try it out, if you want to be a pattern tester for me, that would be fantastic. I'll also be putting up a thread on Ravelry for this pattern here. So that way, if you wanted to be a pattern tester just for shits and giggles, and you wanted to comment there, that would be the best place to put it, because I will be checking it there. And then we'll do just a full chat thread. If you want to post how things are going, how things are shaping up for you as we go. That will be our chat thread, and I'll be checking that every day over the next couple of weeks to see if there A, is any interest, and B, if there's any questions that are there. I will not be making this pattern available on the Ravelry page. You'll need to come to this video specifically in order for you to download the pattern for free. This is the only place I'm going to be telling you how to do that, because I do plan on making this pattern available for a fee later in the future. And until I have other things set up, like Patreon or something like that for pattern testers, or some other avenue for that, this is what I'll do for this one as I work with pattern testers, because I've never done that before. So without further ado, I'm going to cut off to the just basically a slideshow of the room now, so that way you can see what it turned out to be, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.